Guys, great to see you. Welcome back to another lesson, and thank you so much for joining me for this one. So there you heard me playing like a blues figure there. And I think these type of things are well worth learning to add to your kind of toolbox. As we go along on our guitar journey, we pick up various things that stick with us because they have a place, they're very generic in a sense, things that we can use in lots of different situations. And this is one of those things. It could be a shuffle, it could be many things, it could be particular riffs or licks that we seem to draw upon and we also add to as well on our guitar journey. So let's get straight to it. Let me show you what's happening and break it down. And fortunately, with a lot of these ideas, they're very translatable. So I might show you it like today in the key of G, but it's very, very easy to then move it to a different key, but also play the same type of thing. So again, these are all the kind of reasons why they should be part of our toolbox. You will notice that I started out in the key of G, and I'm playing a half bar here, as you can see, right? And essentially we're playing around with this idea of the major and minor third, and you will have heard a ton of this kind of stuff on your journey already, I'm sure, right? But we're going to just keep things very, very simple here. And so as you can see, this is a half bar G. If I was to play that, just playing the bottom four strings, right? Because they're the only ones I'm fretting. Now, the minor third is this third string, third fret. That is a minor third. Now if I was to add my middle finger to the next fret, i.e. the fourth fret of the third string, and play it, it would be a major third. So off, minor third, on, major third. And what you will have noticed is that I'm playing around with that idea when I'm playing this little figure. So we're going... So I'm starting off with like a minor, but very quickly hammering on, doing this. So we go, like I say, between that minor and major third. So we go very slowed down. Now there can be a tendency when we're playing these type of things to adopt a death grip and start strangling the guitar. Whenever we come across something new and challenging, we must always be on the lookout for this, because all that's going to do is hinder what we're trying to do. What we must always really bear in mind is that we need to keep our left hand very relaxed. Okay, so we're looking for the minimum amount of pressure to make the note sound. And you can always tell if you're relaxed if you just pay attention, because the movement is a lot freer. Now that's the one chord. Now, as many of you may or may not know, if we were looking for the four chord, all we need to do is move up 5 spaces from the one chord. Now, so we've got this G. If we move up 5, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That takes us to a C, which is our 4 chord, and we can now do exactly the same thing. Okay, it's all the same as what we did down here. We return to the G. Now, typically speaking, what we might do in this situation for our 5 chord, right, we go up 7 frets from the 1 chord. So if you put that all together, you start wherever you start with your 1 chord, it doesn't matter, it could be a G, it could be an A, it could be a B, it could be anything. Whenever we start with the 1 chord, all we need to do for our 4 chord is move up 5 frets. And for the 5 chord, we move up 7 frets. And it's as simple as that. So like I say, typically speaking, what we might do in this situation is just go up 7 frets, so we're here. Now you'll notice that I did actually play that in the example at the beginning, but I did that on the second run around just to show you that that's the typical kind of way people might go. But if you noticed on the first time around, what I played was... So that type of idea. So what we were doing was we were taking a different approach to get to the 4 and the 5 chord, and instead of just playing major chords there, we played ninth chords. So these chords that you can see me playing here are ninth chords, and these have a very bluesy, jazzy feel to them, and they're well worth knowing. Now, to play any ninth chord, okay, we start with the root note, which is always on the 5th string with these ninth chords. Now I'm on the 5th fret, 5th string, with my middle finger. Then I'm going to bring my index finger to the 4th fret, 4th string, and then we're looking to place our ring finger on the bottom 3 strings of the 5th fret. And whatever the root is, like I say, it's always on the 5th string here. Now that's a D, so that means we're playing a D9. So this note, which is the 3rd fret, 5th string, is a C. So that means if we play that exact same shape, we have a C9. And then all I did was I put in a couple of chromatic runs. 4, 5, 6, 7 on the 3rd string. And I just kind of echoed that then on the 5th string. 3, 4, 5. Or I could play 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything really goes with a chromatic run. So let me just put all of that together and show you how it sounds in context with these ninth chords. We start with our half bar G. To the 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. Now we go into the 9th section. D9, back 2 frets, C9, and then we play. And all I'm doing here is I'm playing out of the G minor pentatonic. And then we play a little chromatic. 4, 5, 6, 7 on the 3rd string, and I echo that on the 5th string. Now the second time around I played position 1 G, half bar, up to C, back to G, now we go to D, C, and back to G. Now that's a more traditional approach, just playing everything as a half bar. But you see, it's about adding these variations that gives your playing a little bit more interest in a sense. And it's not so predictable. And the more ways that we can do things, the better. The more options then are open to us. So I think that the things you need to take away from this lesson are not to be pressing too hard. We're looking to only ever really apply just enough pressure for the notes to sound. I think that when we're in a situation like this, we're learning something new. Perhaps it's a challenge as well. Perhaps it's just difficult because we haven't done it before. And that's when there's a real tendency for our hands to really tighten up and strangle the living daylights out of the guitar. And of course that makes life very, very difficult for us because we can't really move our hands comfortably when they're so tightly clenched. So it's very, very important to just keep an eye on your left hand and be mindful of how much pressure you're applying. Because very often, once you bring awareness to what you're doing, then you can loosen a little bit. And don't worry too much if some of the notes don't sound. I think it's personally better to not be pressing so kind of hard. And even if some of the notes aren't quite sounding, then as time goes by, you can just increase that pressure just a little bit until they do sound. And then that way you won't get fatigue in your hands and things, which is really important. So, like I say, I hope that you have some fun learning this one. It's a great little thing to add to your toolbox and many, many different ways you can use it as well. And thanks very much indeed for joining me for this one, and I'll see you soon with another lesson.